Memories of a troubled past, in your thoughts they hold you fast. Clean's words wash away through the night into the day. Feel the doors close, the hearts you never show. Integration brings you peace. Quietly, now look within. Find the you've been hiding, the parts you couldn't deny. Inside, in our cry.
Greetings, beautiful humans. My name is AJ, owner of AJ Inc., Triple M Coaching, founder of our home planet on the web, hackyourself.net. I am just getting set up for tonight's live stream, which is going to be exciting. Tonight, we are going to be talking about switching from survival state to safety state. So I hope you can stick around and join me. We're going to be getting started here in about 20 minutes. Until then, I'm going to play a couple of songs. I do have some exciting announcements tonight. Number one, I'm almost ready to start enrollment in the Balanced Life Wheel Mastermind. So if you are liking what we're doing here live and you want a transformational experience, January 1st will be your first chance, and soon you'll be able to learn more about it with a few videos that I'm working on and a landing page. So greetings, welcome to anyone joining us. And if you'll give me just a minute to get everything set up, I will be back. I'm going to put some music on. The music you're going to be hearing is from my band Love Trust. You can find us anywhere you stream music. Every song is sorry, I got cats on my feet. Every song is a guided meditation written by me, a human programmer, designed to fix your mind. It's medicine for the mind. So enjoy the next couple of songs while I get set up here, and we will be getting started with how to change your state in about 15-20 minutes.
Pounding like a drum, sunrise chasing dreams we ain't done. Sweat on my brow, fire in my veins. Nothing gonna stop me feeling no pain. Each step strong, shadows fall away. Rise up, conquer today's the day. Heartbeat racing, mind so clear. Listen to my voice, no fear. Keep on running, don't slow down. Till the finish line, my dreams I found. Every sign of victory in the making. Shouting loud, we ain't faking. Push through the struggle, break the chains. Leave behind doubts and all the pain. Closing in on that gleaming prize. Eyes on the goal, see it rise. Mountains to climb, rivers to cross. No looking back, no counting loss. Forward march, head held high. Rains on our heels, we can fly. Keep on running, don't slow down. Till the finish line. Hypnotically frozen, eyes closed to the sound. Inner peace begins to spin, mind and body found. Ego fades away, acceptance starts to bloom. In this trance I sway, souls emerging bloom. Growing strong with every note, higher self begins to flow. Emotions flow like the sea, I'm becoming truly me. Feel the rhythm steady, inside starts to glow. Thoughts become more ready, letting wisdom show. Ego no longer bounds, look within to see. In the calmer surround, mind and body free. In the space, I'm growing, true self now unfolding. Embrace the light that's showing, pure love I am holding. Going strong with every note, higher self begins to flow. Emotions flow like a sea, I'm becoming truly me. Inside starts to glow, thoughts become more ready, letting wisdom show, letting wisdom show. Ego no longer bounds, look within to see. Inner calmness surrounds, mind and body free. In the space I'm growing, true self now unfolding. Embrace the light that's showing, pure love I am holding.
Breaking free from sorrow, feel the sun shine today. Pain body fades away, new path I will follow. No more shadows in my mind, negativity be gone. With each new dawn, leave the hurt behind. Feel the love in this moment, let it guide us home. No more heavy heart to roam, just peace and atonement. Embrace the now with open arms. The past is just a story, in this glory, heal through life's charms. Every breath a fresh start, pain no longer in control. Healing my soul with a lightened heart. Feel the love in this moment, let it guide us home. No more heavy heart to roam, just peace. fresh start. Pain no longer in control. Healing my soul with a lightened heart. Feel the love in this moment. Let it guide us home. No more heavy heart to roam. Just peace and atonement. Atonement. Raise the now with open arms. The past is just a story. In this glory, heal through life's charms. Ooh, ooh, heal through life's charms. Embrace the now with open arms. The past is just a story. In this glory, heal through life's charms. Heal through life's charms. Heal through life's charms. Heal through life's charms. The past is just a story. In this glory, heal through life's charms.
Well, again, greetings. Welcome to anyone who is here with me. It looks like I have at least 2 watching. Sorry, I'm just getting set up. We still got a couple of minutes. Hoping to get a few more to join us before 5. And get a few things set up here. Some more. If you want to join in the conversation today, there is a link for the Hack Nation WhatsApp group inside the description of this video. You are welcome to click that and join us. Please do not spam it up like the others have been doing. Just go in there and look for the Healing in Nature chat group. And I'm in there right now, and I can take your questions from there easy. Or if I can figure this chat out here. Ooh, live chat. I think I got the live chat up on my laptop, so I think we're good. Let's see if this will work. Well, like I said at the beginning, we are going to be talking about how to change your state today, how to recognize when you are in a fight, flight, freeze, or fawn state. And then we are going to go over some tools on how to get out of that state. And hopefully, there'll be some stuff that you can take with you right away and start using in your everyday life. So let me see how we're doing over here. Okay, I'm going to give this just another minute to see if anyone will join us. Looks like there's only 1 or 2 watching right now, so I hope some more join us. If not, we will get started here in just a minute. It's not quite 5 yet. Okay. Well, since we got a couple of minutes before 5, I will just explain a little bit about what a Healing in Nature event is. It's an event that I made up at the beginning of this summer. I was starting my business and I didn't know how to get out and meet people. And so I just started setting up at parks and I started teaching people about mindfulness, meditation, breath work, eye gazing. And I had so much fun doing that when it got cold and rainy, I thought I would keep it going online. So I had to figure out how to use Zoom and YouTube, and here we are. So now I have an open Zoom room if anyone would like to join me here in about a half hour, 45 minutes. Think about it. If you have any questions, if you just want to talk and explain some of your experience with meditation, mindfulness, or breath work, maybe get some feedback or teach us something I'm always up for learning. So if you want to join in the conversation, we have 2 options today. You could join our WhatsApp group on WhatsApp. You can click the link in the description and join our group, or you can click the Zoom link and join us here on Zoom and be part of the conversation that way. I suppose also you could text me at 360-798-2184 if you don't have WhatsApp. You can just text my work line and ask me questions and interact with me live there. So yeah, it's been fun. Now we are getting kind of a backlog of some of these topics that we're talking about. And since I'm on Zoom, I can go into detail and we can watch them later. So if you haven't already checked it out, there's also a playlist in the description of all of our past events. So check those out. We have some really, really good topics that we've talked about, and we go into depth in these events. And so today we're kind of combining all of our talks so far up till now, because we've described what pain body is. We've described how to begin to recognize the state that you're in, to name it so that you can tame it. We've talked about shadow work. And today we're going to really hone in on how to identify what state you're in the moment. That's very, very key, because I've lost days and weeks being in a fight, flight, or freeze state and haven't even realized it until it was all over. And so one of the first things that I learned that really started changing my daily life and helping me stay present was how to recognize my state. In fact, I think there was a solid year that in my journal I had a state tracker. Every few hours I would have a 1 through 5 marked, and so I could go throughout the day and mark how my state shifted throughout the day. So it's very important to learn how to track that. And tonight, I'm hoping that you'll leave this event with all the knowledge you need to start doing that. So again, like I said in the beginning, my name is AJ. I'm a human programmer. I teach my clients how to rewire the programs of self-sabotage in their unconscious mind. I teach people how to use self-hypnosis to change beliefs. And this is identity coaching. We're not looking at the symptoms anymore. We're not trying to figure out the problems in the relationships outside. We're not chasing to figure out what addictions trace back to. What we're doing is we're shifting the identity underneath all of that. And when you do that, you don't need to treat the symptoms. I have clients all the time that have anxiety, and I can't treat that. You need to be a doctor to treat anxiety. But we can focus on meditation and shifting the identity. And when they find a new identity, the one that has passed all of their problems, all the anxiety, all the problems that they think are in front of them, they melt away. So that's what we're going to learn tonight, is how to step into that higher state. Let me see if we got anyone else joining us on the YouTubes. Not yet. I am excited because part of my coaching that I do is a group that I have been trying to start for years called the Balanced Life Wheel Mastermind. And this group is based on a book that I've written. It's available on Kindle right now. And it basically divides our life into 12 life wheel spokes. And then in this group, we are going to go in and deconstruct beliefs, find false beliefs in each area, and reconstruct new beliefs. And that kind of gave birth to another mastermind that I'm doing at the same time. They go hand in hand. The other one is called the Outcomes Mastermind, and that's where we use neuro-linguistic programming, self-hypnosis, guided meditation, and we will spend an hour a week just meditating on outcomes that we want to see in our life, and placing them in our future timeline. And it's something you can't explain in a video like this, the power of that, but that's when magic happens. When you spend time programming your unconscious mind for the outcomes that you want, that's when manifestation kicks into gear, because what you're doing in those moments is you're tuning your frequency to that future, and you become a magnet. And so that's what we're going to be learning how to do in that class. It's something that has just become second nature to me after 10 years of practicing mindfulness. And so I figure in a group like that, we can work together, and you guys will teach me something and I'll teach you where I'm at. And together we're going to change a lot in our own lives. So those are things to keep in mind. I will have a link soon to join both of those, but if you want any information about those, the best way right now is to text me. Hopefully tomorrow I will have the website up for that. But for tonight, we are going to sit back and learn how to switch states. So if you are live with me on YouTube, thank you for joining me. If you are catching the replay later on, thank you just as much for joining me. This topic is very important, and this is going to spring you forward in your journey to self-care. So I'm really grateful that you're here with me. I'm grateful that we can spend this beautiful moment together. As we get started, let's try to settle in, ground ourselves a bit. Tonight's topic is one of the most important of your entire healing journey. How to move your body from survival into safety. So this event connects everything that we've covered so far: the false beliefs in our Beyond Belief episode, the pain body, the inner child, shadow work, and emotional naming. All of these are incomplete unless you know how to regulate your nervous system. So really, that's what we're talking about today, is how to regulate your nervous system. Because your body is the first responder in every emotional moment. And it has been your whole life. You don't know how much it's protected you since you were a child. And in this episode, we're going to really deconstruct how to listen to the body and to see what it needs. So I want you to ask yourself, as we get started, where do you physically feel stress first? Is it in your chest, in your stomach, your throat, or your back, or some other place? If you're watching live, you can comment, or if you're watching the replay, go ahead and comment where you feel stress first. And as we think about that question, let's do some grounding breaths. We're going to take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. We're going to do a longer exercise like this later, and you'll see how it works. But right now, let's use this for grounding. Take a deep breath in, hold for a second, and let go slowly. Couple more. One last one. let the breath out. Let go of all stress. Let go of all ruminating thoughts and just settle into this moment. Right now, it's all that matters is that we are here learning how to fix these things. Years ago, I used to wake up and feel like my body had already lived an entire day before I even made it out of bed. Racing heart, tight chest, thoughts spinning, muscles bracing, and nothing bad had even happened yet. I really thought something was wrong with me, but nothing was wrong. My body was just still living in survival mode, and I didn't know it. Even though the danger was long gone, this is what trauma does. It teaches your body to react long before your mind even knows why. It wasn't until I learned how to read my survival states and recognize them that I finally felt like I could breathe again. So have you ever felt like your body is reacting to a threat that is no longer there? Like me, I have some memories as a child. I remember a specific terrifying moment in a men's room where a creepy guy came in, and I remember freezing. And literally I couldn't move, to the point where I was like, I couldn't even open the door. And years later, when I would be in similar situations where my body would think the same thing was happening, it would start to freeze up again. Or after many years of narcissistic abuse between my first wife and I, projecting onto her, it got to the point where all I had to do was hear her voice and I would be ready to throw up, not because of her, but because of all the trauma and chaos that we had caused together. So these are some examples from my past where I didn't know what was happening. And then later on, I would hear somebody else with the same tone of voice, and I would begin to get the same response. I'm trying to think of a few other examples. To this day, if I'm in a family setting and I feel like I'm not being heard, I'll literally lose access to my thoughts. I won't be able to remember what I'm saying next, and it looks like I'm crazy. And these are all examples of when our body reacts to a threat that is no longer there. In each of these, I have sat for hours doing shadow work and tracing back to the original memory. But the only trace of them that would show up in my everyday life were the effects of when, say, the one when I was in a restroom as a child. It was just when I was around people that reminded me of that person that walked in. And I had no idea because my body had disassociated my mind from what happened, and it was protecting me from it. And so I'm bringing these out to show you these are the markers of shadow work for you to trace triggers back. We have to start seeing triggers as markers for trauma and false beliefs, because they're really not happening because of the things that are happening outside. They're happening because of body memories. And that's what we're talking about here. When our body is reacting to a threat that is no longer there, it will continue to project that threat over top of the raw data that you're experiencing currently, even when the situation doesn't represent it anymore, to let your conscious mind know that there's trauma. That's what it's doing. So we're going to get into next what survival states really are. Because what I've learned through my journey, once you get to understand a survival state, you might realize that you've been living in it for quite some time. Or you might also realize that you're living in a cycle of survival states. You might be living through a season of freeze, and then maybe your life gets so bad that you have to fight your way out and fight, flight, and freeze, uh, fly your way out, and then you might freeze again. And that might be the pattern of your life, but we can't stop these patterns until we learn to recognize them, until we stop looking at the stories in front of us, saying, Johnny said this today, and that hurt my feelings, and start saying, wow, why did that hurt my feelings, and why does it remind me of what my dad used to say to me, and start looking inside, because it's never outside. So we're going to learn what survival states really are. Your nervous system has one job: to keep you alive, not to make you happy, not to make you peaceful, not to help your relationships. Its one directive is to keep you alive and breathing. So when it senses danger, real danger or old danger, actual danger or imagined, it activates survival mode. And it only has a few options in survival mode. The nervous system does not distinguish between memory and reality. So if your parents' tone might trigger childhood fear now, if you're, as an adult, your parent is talking to you on the phone, you might start to feel childhood fear. Or seeing your ex's name pop up on the cell phone might activate abandonment or panic. A loud sound might bring back emotional chaos of a bad situation that you experienced. Minor conflict can trigger freeze due to religious trauma. I experienced that. Silence triggers old neglect. I dealt with that today. I was dealing with a friend of mine that I know is absolutely in freeze state, and I asked her a question and she wouldn't respond right away, and I started feeling neglected. And thankfully I was working on this today, and I was like, oh, I'm sensing a trigger. So we're going to go over the 4 survival states. There's actually 5 in my mind. We'll talk about that. So for those of you that are like, no, there's 5, we'll get to that. But it's not really relevant to this. I'll go over that at the end. So you guys know these, but the interesting thing is the last one, after reviewing this for tonight's episode, I had actually not fully understood. We'll talk about that more, but it's funny, the more we go over these, our conscious mind will learn. And so tonight I actually learned something from writing this up. So the first one, fight. When you find yourself in fight mode, your body says, I need to protect myself. The symptom is anger, tension, irritability, confrontations, emotional intensity. So you might find yourself constantly being defensive during disagreements or overreacting to criticism. Maybe you're constantly finding yourself confused between anger and power, like how to gain power in a family system or at work, and getting angry about it. Feeling on edge all day. These are symptoms of being in flight mode or fight mode, I guess. Sorry, I have a little music playing in the background, so it's not just dead silent behind me, and it stopped. Okay, there we go. So our next state is flight mode. Of course, the body says, I need to escape. I need to get out of here. What the heck is going on with my music? There we go. I don't even know if it's picking up on the video, but it's helping me stay calm. So, flight mode, the body says, I need to escape. The symptoms: anxiety, restlessness, overthinking, compulsive movement, avoidance. You might find yourself overworking, cleaning as a coping skill or a coping mechanism, trying to escape conversations rather than having hard conversations, running from emotional vulnerability, or leaving relationships without any closure, running away from relationships. And again, these are going to show up with the story that makes you feel like it's happening outside. I mean, I have to clean. If I don't clean, the house will be dirty. But if you're doing it as a response of being in flight mode, it's better to be doing it in responsible mode, self-love mode. So it doesn't mean if you're cleaning your house that you're in flight, but you got to see your motivation behind it if you're obsessively doing it. If you find yourself escaping conversations with a certain person or many difficult people, these are things inside you. They're not inside the other people. Trust me, when you fix the beliefs inside, the other people change quickly. Our third response state is freeze mode. And as I'm sure you guessed, the body says, I can't move. My feet are glued to the floor. The symptoms are numbness, shutdown, disassociation, feeling stuck, brain fog. This is where a lot of our trauma is created when we're in freeze mode as a child, because we disassociate from our body, especially in the worst cases of abuse, so that our conscious mind doesn't have to experience it. But if you really look into what abuse is and you start to comprehend that abuse is any situation, or trauma, not abuse, trauma is any situation that a child doesn't know how to process. So trauma could happen at a birthday party. If something happened that the child doesn't know how to process, somebody could be trying to do something nice and cause trauma. So we as adults have to start unraveling it. So some things you may find yourself doing if you're stuck in freeze mode is being silent under pressure. When you need to speak up, your throat chakra closes, you have no access to your voice. That's a symptom of being in the freeze mode. Silent, I just said that one. Start staring at nothing. If you find yourself just staring off into space, and people are like, hello, come back to Earth, you might be in freeze mode. Forgetting your words or feeling like your body isn't yours. That one is big. When I woke up around 42 years old, I started doing mindfulness every day, practicing silent meditation. And after about 6 months, I started to get this sense that my body was a whole different animal that I didn't know at all because I had ignored it. And so this feeling like your body isn't yours is what happens after years of disassociation and thinking about other people's needs before your own, not taking care of your own basic needs. Now, here, number 4, this is the one that I was really happy to review today, because I've always heard fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And somehow in my mind, I've always identified freeze and fawn as the same. I just thought of a deer frozen, and I just thought they were the same meaning. But going back, I'm seeing fawn has a completely different meaning, and I associate with this one more. So of course my conscious mind would block it out. Pain body wouldn't want me to learn as much about this because this is getting to the root of my issues. But fawn, this state, was really interesting to read. The body says, I will please you so you don't hurt me. That gave me goosebumps when I read that. Symptoms is people pleasing, saying yes automatically, hiding emotions or being ashamed of them, over apologizing. How many adults do you know that say sorry for everything? How many of us do it? My tribe, we tend to call each other out when someone says they're sorry for it. There's nothing wrong. The tribe is now saying, "What are you sorry for?" We're trying to fix this. Prioritizing others over yourself. And that really is a problem, because the best thing I ever did was put myself first in the morning. And now I take care of my own needs before I even turn my phone on. Then once I turn my phone on, I can spend the rest of the day helping everyone else. So people can say that it's not right to be selfish and not right to put yourself first. But there's the old saying that I learned when I was in the Jehovah's Witness cult, and I'm sure many churches use it. They talk about when you're taking care of your kids and your family, that if you're on an airplane and the airplane loses altitude, the masks come down, you have to put it on yourself first, because you won't be able to help others if you don't. So anybody saying don't prioritize yourself first, anybody saying that waking up in the morning and having a morning routine is selfish, those are people who don't understand how humans work, and they honestly need to figure that out, and they're giving you bad advice. You need to put yourself first, and once you do that, once you heal yourself, you will be able to be at service to everyone else for the rest of the day. My morning routine used to be 2 to 6 hours just to get my head on straight before I could face the world, and now it's about 15 minutes. And I go all day. Sometimes I wake up at 4 in the morning and I'm not done till 10 at night, and I'm on the phone, I'm creating videos. It's because I spend that few minutes in the morning, and you need less and less. The more healed you get, the more of this trauma you get out, the more of the shadow work that you do. So yeah, I didn't mean to lose it on this one, but this one was really, really exposed me, and I hadn't really understood it. So you find yourself losing your voice in relationships. That describes me in every relationship I had. And I used to blame my partners, but I realize now that it was me not having the skills. I needed to learn the skills. And now I never lose my voice in relationships. Living just to keep the peace. I used to think if there was a problem, that it was my job to solve it. Now I only solve problems that I cause, and I try to help others, and I let them be peaceful or not, and I let me decide how much time I want to spend with them. Being the caretaker for everyone. Many empaths find themselves actually becoming caregivers or nursing assistants or nurses or doctors, or in some way healing others. And that doesn't mean if you find yourself in that job that you're living in this fawn state. It's just something to look into. And then the last one I have on this list is being numb during conflict. So after hearing this list, which survival state is your default, or which ones ring true to you? Can you start seeing patterns in your life of times when you've lived in these states? I'm going to pause real quick and take a look at the YouTube. All right, still only have a couple watching. No comments. Just making sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, well, we're going to go even deeper in this here, so stick with me. We're going to look into a little bit about how narcissistic and religious high control groups and systems create survival wiring. I found that's where a lot of our problems come from, is most of the religions have a very high control quality to them. And in that case, it goes down into the families. So when we start deconstructing how some of these things were installed in us, it makes it easier to become the human programmer and uninstall them. So, excuse me, when you grow up in an emotional war zone, your body wires itself permanently into survival. In narcissistic systems, whether it's a family or a group, unpredictable anger, guilt conditioning, silent treatment, walking on eggshells, punishment for being yourself. These things create fawn and freeze. So in a high control religion or family, you might fear punishment. Shame-based identities, they tend to weaponize our shame. Families do that too. They find something that we legitimately did wrong, or at least in their set of beliefs, they say we did wrong, and then weaponize our shame. Obedience over authenticity. We learn to obey over becoming our authentic self. I know for me, in order to join the Jehovah's Witness high control group, I had to take out my piercings, and I was proud to do it. I was proud to give it up for Jehovah. But once I started realizing that I was in a cult and that this was man's teachings that I was following, I started to realize that the piercings were part of my authentic self. I almost didn't even want to put them back in, but they had purpose. Like my tongue ring helped me to hold my tongue when I was in narcissistic battles with my ex. I would have to speak more carefully. And so it was weird. It was like I got them when I was in my early 20s, took them out to get in this cult, and then putting them back and becoming my authentic self, growing my facial hair out before the cult said that beard, not shaving. For those of you who aren't ex-JWs, you won't get this, but for my ex-JW brothers and sisters, you know, they said no beards for 100 years, and then I grew a beard in defiance, and I left. And about a year later, they said, oh, that's not a Bible teaching. You can have beards now. My point is growing the beard out, putting my piercings back in, it just helped me to move out of that system. So being your authentic self is very important. It's literally the only way to break out of those molds, the only way. And it was part of making my body, my pain body, that everything that I've been through, more comfortable, is just allowing it to express itself that way and not being ashamed of it. So in a high control religion, we're going to be conditioned through fear of punishment, shame-based identities, constant self-monitoring. My ex-JW friends know that, where you're always self-monitoring your thoughts. It creates freeze and flight wiring. Another one of my specialties, because I work with a lot of people coming out of high control groups and high control religions. I work with them on deconstructing their faith and comparing it to reality. So that was one group that I work with. The other group is addiction households, homes where there's addiction. You're going to learn through chaos, inconsistency, crisis cycles. These are very important. If you have an addict in your childhood home, look out for crisis cycles in your life, even if you don't partake in the addiction. I've had a recent client whose mother has a very long time addiction to narcotics or something. I don't know that, but she doesn't touch any drugs at all, but was living out the chaos cycle. And so helping her to see that, stop the cycle. And so that's what we're doing tonight, is we're learning how to retrace the steps backwards. So if you have someone in your childhood life that had addiction, understand that you might not be playing the cycle out with addiction. You might be playing it out just with chaos. Your family might move through the same cycle. And these are things that we can fix. This is good news. I'm showing you that you can fix it. It's not outside of your control. You have to trace it backwards. And that's what we're doing. So these things in an addiction household create fight, flight wiring. Yeah, fight and flight wiring. In parental alienation, you get attachment destruction. So like my children who were taught by the religion that they're in, Jehovah's Witnesses, that me leaving their religion means that I worship the devil. they're being programmed for the fight, flight, freeze, and fawn through attachment destruction. They were told that I want to hurt them when I just didn't want their religion. And so the only thing that keeps me hanging on is we can reverse engineer this. When they wake up, they'll be able to be watching this and reverse engineer it. They're learning through abandonment trauma. They think that I abandoned them when their religion actually severed our relationship. And the same thing happens in narcissistic families, where one parent will alienate the other parent by vilifying them. That happens all the time to my clients. I will get a call from someone who's a great parent and just buried by a character assassination from a very narcissistic parent. And that's where these states will be wired into the children, because the children think that they're abandoned when they're really not. They're being stolen from the other parent. But all these things are fixable. So I'm going to take a little quick break here, and we're going to see who's with me on YouTube. And I might have someone joining me on the Zoom room here in a minute, so I'm checking to see if I got any messages for that. It doesn't look like we have many joining live right now, but this will be available forever for replays. So if you are watching this later on, I'm glad you're here too. So now we're going to get into the fun. In this next section, we are going to actually do a little breathing, and I'm going to teach you how to move out of these states. Once you recognize that you're in a state, it all comes down to the breath, and the breath is where we can start the transition from this state into safety state. So I want you to sit tall, relax your shoulders, unclench your jaw, let your stomach soften. Place one hand on your chest, one on your stomach. I got to hold my phone here for my notes. And we're going to learn a quick and easy breath that you can do anytime, day or night, whenever you feel yourself slipping out of safety state. You can start this breath. I'm going to explain how to do it, demonstrate it, and then we're going to do 5 or 6 together. So step 1 is inhale through the nose, fill up your belly. Then the step 2 is take a second quick inhale and fill up your chest. And we're going to pause for a split second at the top, and then we're going to release slowly. And you're going to try to release it as slow as you possibly can. Because what this does is this demonstrates to your nervous system that you're safe. Because you never breathe out slowly when you're running from a bear or a giant animal. If you're running from something that's real, you don't breathe out slowly. So this indicates instantly to your nervous system that you're safe. It is one of the most basic forms of self-hypnosis. When you put your hand on your chest and your belly, you are centering your body, grounding it. We'll learn some ways that we can add on to this breath work. You can do it really easy. You can double the effects by going outside and putting your feet on the bare dirt. Grounding your feet to the earth will ground your body even quicker. You can play binaural beats in the background for different tones, different frequencies that will help. But this is perfect for when you're at work or at school or driving down the road and you get in traffic and someone cuts you off and you find yourself go into fight mode. You might want to try this before you get a felony. So I will demonstrate it. We're going to go 2 in breaths and a slow out. Oh, in through your nose. few together. Let's do 3 more. Last one. Just settle into your seat. Feel yourself relax. Notice how your body feels right now. That is your safety state coming back online. Some of you, it's going to be the first time, maybe since childhood. So it might take a few more of these breaths. It might take a few more of the other things that I mentioned, grounding your feet. It might take some practice before you start getting some real good results. But I bet you no matter what, you felt some shift by doing those breaths. Because the second you start taking conscious breaths, your body begins to shift out of the survival mode. So ask yourself, what changed in your body? What feelings moved? What shifted? What felt the same? These questions will help you get to understand what your body needs so you can begin to put yourself first. That's all it means. It means spending time in the morning, making sure you have everything you need for the day. And it means stopping throughout the day to check in with yourself to make sure you have the food you need, the rest you need, and the space from the world's chaos that you need. So state activation, what we just did with the breaths, is how we rewire. And we're going to go over 5 different methods. I kind of combine them all into that one breath work, but we're going to take them slowly here, one at a time. The slow inhale, belly, chest out. This lengthens the vagus nerve, and it literally tells your unconscious mind that you are safe. It is the programming language for the unconscious. Number 2 is temperature change. You can literally splash cold water on your face, step outside in the rain. But if you change your temperature, I remember one of the last jobs I had, we had a 0-degree freezer. And if I ever got stressed out in the morning, I was a driver. I would drive the frozen fish out to the different stores. And if I ever got overwhelmed in the morning before I left, I would just go stand in that freezer for a minute with no jacket. My boss caught me one day. He wasn't very happy. He didn't know I was a breathwork master because I was keeping my body at perfect temperature. But yeah, his insurance would cover me playing around in there. But it totally works to go get in a colder environment, change your temperature. Pressure. If you have a weighted blanket, you don't usually carry around a weighted blanket, but you can hug yourself or you can put your palm to your chest. I do this a lot. People think I'm having a heart attack, but I'm just putting pressure in the area that it needs it. Movement. Constantly, I will shake my stress out my hands because I really believe it builds up in your hands, but that's just been my experience. But movement in the middle of a heated conversation, if I'm about to go into flight, before I'll leave, I learn to jump up and start doing jumping jacks or move my hands. If you're in a heated argument with the narcissist, they don't like that, but you have every right to do it. And if it keeps you calm, they really don't like it. So do it more. Unless they're dangerous, get in flight and get out of there. Okay, that time of flight is for a reason. So movement, shaking the limbs, standing up, jumping jacks, running in place, or going for a walk. Environmental shift, light, sound, and smell. I use this so heavy in my last probably year of trying to break out of these states. Once I recognized from my mindfulness practice that I was spending most of my day cycling through these states, I was either frozen in fear or running like mad or fighting. I started looking into sun gazing. I can't suggest you do it because officially it's bad for your eyes, but I look at the sun every morning, the sunrise and sunset for 15 minutes, and it changes my state for the entire day. So you're gonna have to talk to your doctor about that if you want to do it. But they do have lights that are supposedly safe, and I think they help. Sound is very, very important. Binaural beats and isotropic tones. These two will literally change your vibration. I remember when I was going through narcissistic abuse and really trying to navigate my way out of the Jehovah's Witness cult, realizing I was going to lose my kids, lose my marriage. I knew I was going to lose everything. The way I stayed out of the fight and freeze was I bought a set of headphones called bone conducting headphones, and they just sit on your temple, and they actually use your skull to make the sound. And I would play like 432 hertz. I would play the actual vibration of love, and I would play it all day long. I'd have 3 of these wireless headsets charged in my car, and I would just switch them out. And anytime I would feel my state shifting, I would just shift my focus to the tone, and I would tell myself, that is the sound of unconditional love. I can feel that right now in this moment. And that's really what taught me to be present throughout the day, was the actual reminder of these headphones and people saying I look like an alien, and me being my authentic self, saying I don't care what I look like. At the time I was a window cleaner, I was working in $1 million homes, and I would show up with this on, and it didn't matter to me because I knew it was keeping me focused. I knew it was making me give them 5-star service. My clients didn't care about it. It was just the people in my life that were seeing their control over me slip away that had a problem with it, calling it strange. So I suggest get a set of bone conducting headphones if you're stuck in one of these states, and wear it throughout the day. Smell is the last one on this list. And essential oils. I use those all the time. I will put them in my hair so that I can get the scent whenever the wind blows. I will use them in my meditation during the morning. I would do an hour meditation in the morning to memorize the vibration of peace and abundance. And I would be smelling orange essential oils. And then I would put that in my hair. So throughout the day, I could be reminded of the feeling that I would have. The smell would bring back the presence. These are all hacks that you can literally add years of mindfulness practice if you start combining them all. I would every day I would have a pocket full of essential oils. I would have my bone conducting headphones. I'd have batteries to charge my phone and the headphones so that I could be listening to them all day. Because to me, there's nothing more important than staying in safety state or flow state. You know, once you have a purpose and a vision, flow state is where you just wake up in the morning and you just start attracting everything that you need. Everything gets done easier because you're letting it unfold. And once you learn how to get yourself into that state, there's no reason to settle for being in freeze mode and feeling anxiety. It's something that you can change. And some of my clients recently have kind of paused all of their business plans and just focused on getting in the right state of mind, the state of consciousness. And they're seeing the power of that. You can fight through anxiety for 10 years and build an empire of a business, and, you know, build a family, and in that time never do the shadow work and do the actual work to become the human programmer and fix the anxiety. And in the end, that may destroy everything you built. It's so much better to take 3 to 6 months and fix yourself. Heal thyself. Once you heal yourself, once you fix these broken programs inside, then creating becomes easy. And then you can keep it because you can wire out the false belief that you don't deserve abundance. You can wire out the false belief that the root of all evil is, or money is the root of all evil. And you can put in the thought that money brings out who you are, and you can become a person who's generous with their money, and you can do good with it. So, or you can understand that you deserve to make enough money, and you can set your goal on that and make just enough. That's fine too. You don't need to make more than you need. But the amount of money you make and the amount of joy you find in the work that you do and the family that you've created and the life that you're living all come down to your own beliefs about yourself. And so that's what we're working on, is getting under those beliefs, getting under these states of consciousness so that we can move ourselves into the state of safety. So we're going to take a few scenarios here, I think. Well, yeah, I kind of already did the narcissistic family conflict. I showed you how I used light, sound, and smell using the headphones. So the same would apply then for addiction cravings. You could use the binaural beats on your temples and be playing tones that help you move away from that addiction. I don't suggest so much in addiction cravings to work on the cravings, because I suggest more to get underneath into the identity and replace what the cravings are trying to get. But in the beginning, you can use these things to help with the cravings while you're learning how to do that. But there's a much more powerful way, a way that makes it much less painful. And the thing really that I've learned with addiction for myself, I mean, I'm not a therapist or a counselor. I'm just a janitor who went in the woods for 10 years and practiced mindfulness and learned a few things about myself. And when I did that, I learned that taking away my shame for any addictions and just getting to the bottom of why I did them, asking myself what I needed. As soon as I answer what I needed, I would replace it with something healthy. And even now, you might see me smoking. I try not to do it on camera because I don't know about YouTube's guidelines, but I smoke raw tobacco and a little bit of flower, marijuana as medicine. Because I used to chain smoke cigarettes, and I learned the power of the medicine of the plants. And so now I put it into it kills the pain is what it does in my back. And I use it way less now that I know why I needed it. I was in fight, flight, and freeze, running for my life, and I was chain smoking, thinking that it was helping me. And when I got to the bottom of what I needed an anti-anxiety, and something to just help me calm my system. And once I switched it over to the raw tobacco and the marijuana rather than pills from the doctor, I needed less and less and less the more safe I got. And so that's what I suggest with addiction, is just getting to understand it, getting to know what the addiction is trying to do for you, and just replacing it slowly with healthy things. And that's harder to do when it's a chemical addiction to a very bad drug or something. Of course you can't just let it go until you figure it out. But those are good starts, using some of these tools to fight through the cravings, and then replacing the cravings, feeling the cravings with healthier things. Like for me, addiction to sugar, I'm still going through that. Yesterday I was dying for sugar, and all I do is I try to replace it with healthier foods, and I get extra full on healthy foods so that I'm not hungry at all. And I'm just learning how to replace that unnatural high of sugar and not need it anymore, because I spent my whole childhood eating sugar. So for religious trauma, you can use these breaths. I guess if you have religious trauma and you find yourself in a group of family members triggering that religious trauma, the breath work we just did earlier would be perfect. The temperature change, I could see if I found myself at a Kingdom Hall and I was starting to feel overwhelmed, I'd probably go into the bathroom and splash some water on my face. So you could see that would work. The self-hug, the pressure on your chest, you could do that anytime. And the movement, especially if it's religious trauma and you find yourself in the same group of people who religiously traumatized you, probably the best way to use movement to get out of that state is just to get the heck away from them. And then the environmental shift, the light, the sound, the smell, all the ways that I described them. The same, you can use the binaural beats in the headphones, and I really suggest the what do you call it, the essential oils during meditation, because the smell, the scent brings you back to your meditative state during the day, and it really helps you to stay present. So hang on one second, I got somebody here. Okay, I might have Efren joining me, who was one of my top contributors on my YouTube channel, by the way. Thank you, Efren, commenting and interacting with me. And I had a new subscriber, Ben. I forgot your last name, but thank you for the comment this morning. That meant so much. I woke up this morning to your videos are always so helpful, and it literally pulled me to get ready for tonight, for today's event. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Okay, so I'm gonna see if Efren's gonna join me. He's texting me right now. But let's go back to our list. We've talked about how we can use these how to rewire these states in narcissistic family conflict, addiction cravings, religious trauma, business overwhelm. You're going to use them the same way. You know, when you're running, like for me, running my office got to be overwhelming. Okay, he's going to be joining soon. And so I would use the binaural beats whenever I would start to get triggered, whenever I would get into the freeze mode. And then the best one on this list is parenting panic. Use all of them for parenting panic. Parenting is one of the most rewarding jobs on earth, but it is hard because we are fighting our childhood triggers, and our poor kids, poor us, nobody knows how it all works. I'm going to be doing a weekend course for parents on hypnosis for parents, because I mean, all the way down to parents don't even realize that they are a hypnotherapist to their children, and when they tell their child not to spill the milk, they're literally giving them a hypnotic suggestion to spill the milk, because their brain has to visualize them spilling the milk in order to process what not to do. And so these little things that we're doing wrong create frustrating situations, and then our triggers from the past rise up, and we have to be careful. These poor children, and poor, like I said, poor us, it's not our fault. There's no monster parents. Even the worst parents that do the worst things to their kids are doing it unconsciously. There's very few monsters out there who want to be acting unconscious. I know I've worked with people that looked like monsters, but when we were able to point out the unconscious behavior and fix them with neurolinguistic programming and meditation, anybody can change if they're willing to look at it. And so in parenting, even if you're the most amazing parent, we don't know when we get triggered, and we don't know what's causing trauma to our children. I mean, I had a client once who had some distant family member who referred to all the kids as little shits, and she thought it was funny. It was a term of endearment, and it caused so much trauma on this one person until they realized that it didn't mean the same thing. But the point is, we don't know what's causing trauma. So we have to learn how to read them. We have to be empaths to our children and see when they're upset and learn how to take care of their emotions. And I got good news. It's really easy to learn how to do it. You just take care of yourself. You take care of yourself first. You heal yourself first. You just try your hardest not to hurt your kids while you're healing. And then once you heal, you know exactly how to help them. Unfortunately for me, by the time I learned, we were divided by religion. I have my daughter, Terry, and we talked every night, but I lost 3 of my children for a time. But once you learn your own broken parts, it gets much easier. So just be careful in parenting and really watch your states when you're parenting your child. And if you're irritated, don't discipline irritated. You cause more trouble for everyone. Yourself, you cause more trouble for yourself when you discipline irritated. So, so as you notice what's changing inside you, you might begin to realize how powerful it is to do this work in a community consistently. If you're watching the replay of this or you're watching live, feel free to join our WhatsApp group. In there, I have a few different chats. One of them is called Healing in Nature, and that's for us to talk while I'm doing these lives, and you guys can ask questions. And the other ones are about my other groups that I'm setting up. So if you want to follow what I'm doing there, and I am going to actually be giving away a couple $333 a month um, tickets to my online group. It's going to be access to both groups. And so if you're watching the replay of this, or if you're live now, I don't know how many are watching, and you're interested in working with me in a group setting twice a week, my clients are saying this is worth thousands of dollars, and it's only $333 a month to have both groups. It's a 1 hour group learning how to visualize your future self and future events, and put them in your future timeline. And then the other one is the Balanced Life Wheel, all about reverse engineering all of your old beliefs and weeding out the old ones and the useless ones. So if you're interested in any of that, please reach out via text 360-798-2184, and I can text you a link to check out more information. But right now the Zoom room is open. I believe Efren joined us. Let me pop over here and see. I think he will be joining me here in a second. Hey man, how you doing? You are on mute. I don't know how to fix that. It mutes you automatically when you pop in.
Okay, hey, how's it going?
Oh, hang on here. Now I got to turn my volume up. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Awesome. How you doing?
hanging in there, hanging in there. I'm glad I got good. I'm glad I got to the right room. Good.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you for joining me today.
Let me jump out. I'm hearing an echo.
What's that?
Yes.
Were you able to catch anything that I was talking about earlier, or did you just join me from getting done with work? Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I think my Wi-Fi might be a little. I don't know. Let me see. Nope, I'm good. I think we're good now. You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it looked like you were frozen for a minute. Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
hard for me to tell. My hair keeps disappearing every time I move with my weird background. So, how you doing? How you doing? I think we might be having some technical difficulty. Meeting is now streaming.
No, I can hear you. I'm having a hard. I've got to figure out how to turn off because I've got you on you. I'm live on YouTube. I'm live on Zoom and then on YouTube. So I hear the echo. So let me.
All you got to do is go to YouTube and either turn it off for now, or you can just mute it. That's what I do. That makes sense. It makes a weird echo. You tell me when you get it figured out, so I'll stop echoing in your ear holes.
I should be good now.
Okay.
Nice background. I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted it a little different. I went with oh, I guess there's a delay on it. Here, let me see. I got to get back to my Zoom. I'm looking at but I have it's supposed to be a waterfall and the sunset. I don't know if you can see it. There you go.
Oh yeah. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice.
So I am glad that you joined me today because we have actually been talking about tracking your state throughout the day, and you've had some cool experiences. Have you had anything new since we talked last about being able to recognize what state you're in? Because I don't know if you were able to hear any of what I was just live streaming, but it was talking about how to recognize the fight, flight, or freeze state. And when you're in it, because we've talked about identifying them, name it to tame it was the last one. But this one was more about how to recognize when you're in it and how to see the symptoms of it and how to see patterns of it in your life. And so if you didn't get to see it, you might check it out, because we go through and talk about how to recognize like the cycle of freeze mode, what it's going to look like in relationships. And if you're like, oh yeah, all my relationships, I see that. Well, then, freeze mode is part of your cycle with relationships,
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I think you're getting to a point with your mindfulness, because you said you practice a half hour a day, right?
I got to 20. It's funny. I got to 25 minutes this morning, and partly because I was a little thrown off, because usually I set my timer to 30 minutes with the beep each 10-minute.
Yeah.
But I was kind of, so I do it. I focus on my breathing. But I didn't hear the beep. And I was like, oh, it's interesting. And then I looked down, I heard one or chime. I'm sorry, chime every 10 minutes. And so I looked down, and it was like, so I heard one chime, but 25 minutes had gone by. So I'm like, okay, well, that kind of, the fact that I had to look at my timer kind of, I said, it's probably a good time to stop it. So I did 25 minutes today.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. It's really showing that your unconscious mind is letting you know. It's like it was telling you there was 5 minutes. I would always see that as kind of pain body being like, all right, there's only 5 minutes, so I'm done. Let's get up,
Yeah. I just thought that, no, I mean, it kind of worked out, because it ended like that 25 minutes was like a few minutes before I had to clock into work. So it kind of worked out. I wasn't going to be late or anything like that. So,
yeah,
so it worked out.
It shows you how your unconscious mind knows it can track time. It knew it was over. It knew it was close enough for you, just to make you look and think that it was. So that's pretty cool. So how does that translate? Like, how are you noticing a difference throughout your day? Are you noticing if you shift into fight, flight, or freeze more?
Well, it's interesting, because I'm making a lot of little small changes too in my life. Like, I wasn't conscious of, maybe I had a little bit of fight or flight today. Maybe a little bit.
Sorry, I got an alarm going off here.
It's all right.
Stop it. Okay, there we go. Sorry.
It was because I wanted to interview this attorney who is retiring. I've dealt with him before. He's retiring. He's a good guy. He's retiring from his job, and I just wanted to get his perspective on the job hunt on my end, and what would be some good strategies, and this, that, and the other. And I'd been kind of bird dogging him for a few days, maybe a week, as to what would be a good time. And I'm like, so I started to overthink things, because he was like, okay, well, at first he seemed kind of reluctant to meet with me, even though I met with him before. He seemed kind of reluctant. So there was a little bit of, kind of a stress that is he reluctant? Does he not want to talk to me? So we did do the interview, but it was over the phone. And, but leading up to it, I was like, okay, how are we going to do this? Are we going to do this over the internet? Are we going to do it over the phone? I don't want to come off as being pushy. This guy is retiring. Is he reluctant? All that stuff. So I was doing a little bit of overthinking, but at some point, which maybe in the past I would have gotten more nervous, but I said to myself, look, just congratulate him and wish him well. you know, I just in my mind decided, you know what, I'm just going to congratulate him and wish him well. I hope he takes a break. You know, he's been working this job for decades, and just let it flow, let it go where it's going to go.
Yeah.
And so I concluded, I did it with them. I concluded, and I reiterated, yeah, you know, whatever you do, I just hope you get a chance to go to some warmer climate, take a rest, take a break. And it was all good. I mean, I had like some anxiety and trepidation going into it, but everything was good. And I wanted to kind of like impart, you know, hey, like thank you for your time, thank you for everything, and I hope you know you enjoy your retirement, and you do something relaxing, you know, whatever you do.
Yeah.
So it went well. It went well. He gave me some ideas too, you
Yeah.
know. So it was nothing is perfect, but it wasn't like, you know, I didn't stress over it, even though I was beginning to. I just kind of calm myself down, just like give him, you know, give him some regard, give him some attention, give him his props,
Yeah.
you know, give to him as you receive. So it kind of went, and it went okay, went pretty well.
That is awesome. So seeing that it could have went another way, and how your energy could have been spent, you know, getting worked up, how does that feel, seeing the payoff of your mindfulness? You know, it's like that half hour a morning, you're actually gaining energy throughout your day. And I'm pointing out, like, how does that feel to see the results of it?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because like the other small change I'm making, I've given up. Like I eat, you know, I'm trying to like really get rid of bread and bread products,
Mhm.
not eat them, right? Not eat, you know, like, so for me, it's going to be like I was eating tortillas, and in the last couple of days, I made a decision like, nope, you're not gonna eat tortillas. I buy burritos, like they're a good deal with meat, you know, and all that stuff. So I made a decision the last couple of days, like don't eat that bread, man. Don't eat that tortilla because it's got filled with gluten.
Yeah.
It's probably trashy. And then so I started eating the burritos like without eating the tortilla, and I was eating the, you know, whether it was egg or beef or ground beef, whatever it was. And I saw the weight of those tortillas, and those things were heavy. And I'm like, dude, do you see how much heavy that is? So, anyways, I've implemented those small changes the last couple of days, and I feel like I do have more. I do have more energy.
Nice.
So, and I think that's a result of the mindfulness, because I was kind of looking at like, okay, you know that there's a lot of nasty stuff in. There's gluten. There's all sorts of processed flour. There's all sorts of stuff that's really not healthy for you within that that food you're eating. Why
Yeah.
not just eat the meat and the vegetables, and just don't eat the bread, because you know bread's got gluten, and
Yeah.
it's made a difference.
I really think you're right. And that's what I noticed. Like, when I started practicing mindfulness, I had disconnected from my body so much that I think the last time I weighed myself, I was at like 350 pounds.
Mm,
And I know I had gained so much weight, I had to go buy bigger pants, and I was
mm,
afraid to weigh myself. So who knows how much I weighed, right?
mhm.
And I just started practicing mindfulness and started visualizing myself as a healthier person. I started seeing the weight as emotional weight, and I started crying the emotions out. And I swear, 6 months of practicing mindfulness, I didn't change a thing. I lost 80 pounds without
That's
even trying.
wonderful. Wow.
And all it was is I wasn't hungry as much. I was eating to cover up the emotions. And instead of doing that, I was sitting in the woods crying and crying out the emotions. And then I would
Wow.
come home hungry. And so I believe you're right. I believe that maybe you were covering up in the past with eating whatever and not thinking about how good it was for you or bad.
Yeah.
Now you're sitting with yourself and you're waking up, you're standing up from the sitting with yourself saying, I got to make sure this system is running healthy. And you're seeing that the unconscious mind is actually pointing out, in this food you're eating, I don't need it. And so you're
Yeah.
just, to me, and I'm glad that you're bringing this experience out, because that's kind of what I wanted to do on this event, is really explain the process of self-help. Because what you've done is just carved out your morning, right? And you've just put mindfulness in your morning. You put one spiritual practice, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that has culminated into, you keep that practice and you're seeing it now trail throughout your whole day. You're seeing
Yeah.
results from it. And so that's what I wanted to point out with people that are just starting. I want them to hear that experience and say, that's where you start, is with a morning routine, with some kind of a practice. I mean, I went all out, and I would spend hours in the morning trying to do breath work and mindfulness and do some yoga. And I wore myself out trying to do the spiritual practice. And what I'm learning by watching you now is that you just need one peaceful practice and the whole system will start unraveling itself, you know?
It's interesting because there's less sunlight now, and the last couple of days, the last 2 days, I've gotten up at like 10 after 5, 5:20, and I'm like, oh God, and I noticed like, and I've gotten pretty good sleep, but I've gotten up earlier, and I was like, just get up, and I just told myself, just get up, start what's good for you, just start what's good for you, and that means get your coffee, do your meditation, and it's been easier the last couple days to get up, and I've gotten up with pretty good energy. It's been easier to get up at like 10 after 5, 5:20 than prior to that. I was like, hitting the snooze button, like get up at 6:30, give me an hour. I want an hour more of sleep,
Yeah.
and things just get harder because you have to crowd your meditation. I had to crowd my meditation in. I had to hurry up my meditation, and then my mind's just spinning. Do I have enough time to do the meditation? Do I have enough time to eat right? And you're just rushing. But I noticed the last 2 days, like when I was like, you know what, I've slept enough, I'm good. It's an upward spiral, a little bit of an upward spiral,
Yes. And it is, because you've taken the time to fight through that battle of, I got to sleep in, you want sleep over that. And you showed your body, you're starting to tame the body. You're telling it needs to be disciplined. And I think after a while, it starts to see the clarity that it's getting, and it becomes addicted to the clarity. So it's almost waking you up saying, let's get to work.
I hope so.
Body mind connection making sparks. It's the two plugging in. And
I really hope
why
so.
you're able to process the emotions and the feelings coming up, saying, oh, we need to start weeding out this kind of food. We need to, and your body's waking you up on time to do it. It's amazing to watch, and I'm really glad you're sharing the journey with me. It's really cool to watch. I'm excited for the next few weeks for you to really get what it's like to be in a flow state all day on purpose.
It's embarrassing because it's like, because it's so humble. It's like it's so like sort of like humble and basic, but it's also true. And then I as I said, I looked at like the physical weight of those tortillas that I wasn't eating, right? I weighed them in my hand. I'm like, dude, that's heavy. Because and like, I'm like, but I have to order them because they're part of a deal where I get my coffee, and so I could have said, hold off on the tortillas, put the meat and everything or the egg on a plate, but they would have charged me differently. So maybe I'll come to some agreement with them where like they'll charge me the same, but they put everything on a plate instead of on a tortilla. But the physical weight of those things, man, and knowing that they were really bad for me. They're not good. Yeah. They're at least not good, and they're inflammatory, and it's industrial dough, and like just the physical weight and knowing that wasn't going into my body. I was like, whoa, okay. Wow.
Yeah. And you're already feeling a difference in the energy of what burning for fuel.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you'll learn exactly what you need. I learned, for me, I spent my whole life eating whenever I was upset and wasn't getting what I needed. And then I had to take, like, once I lost 80 pounds, I got this idea to fast for a while. I was like, I bet my body needs a break from food. And so I don't do anything halfway. I did a 21-day fast, still 150 pounds overweight, still a fat guy.
21 days. Wow.
Yeah. And I felt like I was going to die, but what it taught me is it broke all my ties to eating. And I was actually thinking about it today, talking to a friend about it. And I was like, I think it did a little bit of damage but it was more like a way of like, I want to get control of my eating. So I'm just going to stop doing it until I can do it consciously. But it really taught me that I don't need to eat much. And so I don't know, I only eat like one meal a day, every other day. And I feel like it's more healthy to me, but I would never tell other people to do that. It's just, I'm learning what my body needs. Right. I went so many years of eating 6 meals a day because I was sad and lonely,
Gotcha.
Maybe I'm still shedding the weight of that, but But that's why I suggest everyone learn the diet they need through this process of getting to know their body, because you know what you need, and it might be totally different. There's people who need a ton of small meals, and and what works for me is eating sporadically throughout the week. So
Gotcha.
the point is learning what it is and then doing it, and once you start listening to your body, it's responding in a way that you just get more output, for your dreams, to make your life the way you want it.
Well, that's the goal. That's certainly the goal. So, and there's resistance, there's like, and I think you were alluding to it too, like how many different practices you wanted to squeeze in, right, in the morning. And I feel the same way, kind of. I wish, but I certainly want to do some yoga, but I realize, that, like, okay, maybe if I do ever get into yoga, whether I do it, with other people or myself, I'll do it later in the day. I won't try to squeeze it in the morning. Maybe if I get proficient at it, I'll do a little bit stretching. But yeah, there's always that thing in my mind is, am I doing enough? I think you were kind of alluding to that yourself a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. And the point is, you are, if you just stick with, like, you stretched it a bit at 30 minutes, because some people can't even do that. I've met, people that are just like, I can't sit for 10 minutes. So if you're only able to do 1 to 5 minutes, then maybe you would do some breath work with it, and that would help you then focus your attention on your breath, get you honed more in on focusing your attention. That's kind of what my groups are about, is learning how to find a way to do it, because everyone can be trained. ADHD, I don't really believe is a thing. It's just they have really, marketing has hurt us by short videos and advertisements, and it's really dumbed our attention down. We've been taught, and as a marketer, I mean, I've spent 30 years marketing my window cleaning business and taking courses on how to market, and I've learned over the years that in the early 2000s, you had maybe 30 seconds to capture your attention of your client, and now you might have 3 seconds. If you're not making them laugh and teaching them something and giving them a special offer within the first 3 minutes, they've already moved on.
Yeah. Wow.
And so what I see that at is either a direct attack at our present mindfulness state to keep us controllable, if you want to buy into the conspiracy fear around us, or it's a product of collective unconscious ego and a bunch of marketers who have no limits and unlimited budgets on how to sell their product. And we're experiencing the aftermath of that, of them having unlimited use of psychological warfare to sell their programs and their chemicals to us. And so that's why I think it's so important what you're doing with the mindfulness, because I believe that starts the factory reset. When I work with a client, I try to get them through stages. Someone will come to me and they'll be like, life doesn't make sense. There's all these problems. And I'll have a few conversations with them and show them that there is no such thing as problems. There's just false beliefs. And when I prove it to them, it breaks the system and it starts a factory reset. And their mind says, I can no longer believe that I'm not enough, because I've just seen that I am enough. And so then it restructures everything around that identity, that I'm enough, I deserve, I'm just learning, I'm not cursed, all that starts. And those reverse all the programs that we accidentally learned as children. Nobody meant to teach us we're not enough. Everyone was trying to teach us how to be safe. And so once we fix the misunderstanding, then it's easy to, we all understand inner child. So we just have present self, reparent inner child. And at the same time, we build future self. We just build a vision of who we can be. And that's easy to do. All of our superheroes, all of our life, everyone we've said, that guy's awesome. That girl can give a good speech. This guy's a good healer. This person is good at what they do. Those are all things that are inside of us. That's just like projection. When we say that guy's a liar, this guy's a cheater, those things are inside of us, and we shouldn't be telling other people that. We should be fixing it inside of us. The same goes for the people that we admire, all of our heroes. So while you're doing this work of deconstructing and reparenting the inner child, you're just building up your idea of future self, and then you step into it. The system repairs itself, and then you're writing the story. That's all. You're literally picking up the pen of your life, and instead of looking at the raw data in front of you saying, oh, this is where I ended up, Now you're able to say, oh, there's a pattern I don't like. Let's fix it. There's a pattern I don't like. Let's fix that. You fix enough of those patterns, and pretty soon you're redirecting your energy to let's build a business. Like, why am I working for someone? Why don't I start a practice and do this? You know, you fill in the blank with your dreams.
Yeah.
That's where you're at. That is what I think is amazing, because you're getting the result of the practice. So it's exciting to be part of your journey. Thank you for.
Well, thank you. You know what it was. What's interesting too in this conversation I had with this attorney who was retiring, that I had immediately before I jumped on, just how it kind of resonates with what you just said. We were talking about healthcare, because he worked in healthcare. I kind of worked in healthcare. I did on the budget side, and we were comparing notes on our experiences with personal healthcare. It's like, doctor treatment, like personally, and how tough it's getting, not only for us, but for friends of ours, and just how complicated it's getting. And he was like, he was saying, from, if you ever thought about, doing something like branching out on your own, being a health ombudsman, that's something you might want to look into. Because he was kind of like, that was toward the tail end of his conversation, because I listened to his he had some hardships to go through with his medical care. I mean, he fully insured guy, and he had some serious hardships to go through to get his needs covered. He told me, and like, we were both exchanging it, and he kind of hinted at, I mean, we'll see where it goes, but he hinted at, that might be something to look into if you wanted to go, you wanted to go your own route, being like a healthcare ombudsman, but just a little hint, just kind of, he threw it out there, just a little hint. And I say it's a hint because it kind of resonates a little bit with what you just said. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it is. The universe is going to be, as you sit in your mindfulness, it will be attracting different scenarios to show you what is possible. And this is, you get to decide. Do I want a season of trying that out? And it might turn into the way you present your gift, or it might be the next step to the next, a step to the next level of what you're doing. But the second you start seeing the journey as the movie, I mean, you don't go watch a movie to see the ending scene and see what happened. You go to be part of the journey, right? And when I started this business fully about 6 months ago, I just realized it's been about 6 months. I was trying to channel my future self, and I was trying to be like, man, okay, because I found myself, I hadn't taken care of myself. I was 47 years old, had $30 in my pocket, half a quarter tank of gas, and literally nowhere to park my van, and a cat to take care of. And I was just sitting there like, man, I got to channel my future self. How do I wake up every day in this crappy situation and feel rich? How do I do it? And one day I was just meditating, and it just hit me. I was like, my future self is laying in his deathbed, and that dude is like, I miss the best adventure of my life. It was when I was dead broke and had nothing and proved myself. And I was like, he is literally laying in bed daydreaming about being back here. He's with me. And he's like, this is the good times. I'm sitting here seeing it as, I've got 10 mountains to move in front of me, and I have a broken shovel. And he's like, yeah. And you built all of this. He's already done it. He's sitting there with this empire with, millions of people. He's helped books written, helping people every day. Literally, it just feels like all he does is wake up every morning and just has awesome conversations, and everything comes to him. And he's saying, yeah, you made it. And that was my favorite time. And ever since I realized that our struggles are the best time, I quit. My daughter and I talk every night, and we used to say, someday our future selves will be here. We'll be able to travel. That stopped over the last 3 months. Our future selves are here. I'm like, my future self is stranded right now with not much income, but I'm going to be starting this group that's coming up. We're going to attract a bunch of people. We're going to all heal together. They're going to get $10,000 worth of coaching and mentorship, and we're going to learn from them, and we're going to get enough to live. And it's actually happening. And I no longer am looking forward to anything. I'm living it.
That's wonderful.
It's beautiful. It's like, because I realize, I love living outside. I'm going to be living in a camper or in a tent, even when I have millions of dollars in my bank, because I love connecting with nature. And so it's like, Who cares if I have 10 bucks in my account or 100,000? I can still, this is who I'm going to be. And so when you realize that right now, that then there's no more, I have a dead end job. There's no more, I don't like my apartment. This is my origin story. How do I write my way out of this?
Mm-hmm.
What is the superhero of this story do next to improve their situation? And what do they want to improve? And you just sit for a half hour in the morning, you think about already having it, you feel a little bit of gratefulness for having it already, walk out in your day, and boom, it just shows up.
Mm.
It's that's what you're walking into. Life becomes easy, and you start trusting. You trust that the God that created you, and in my mind, it's just a ever never ending flow of unconditional love. It's like plugging into the wall, and if we're an electronic game, it's what lights us up. That to me is God. But if to you it's a person, however it manifests to you, you just trust it more and more and more. You know, to me, I trust it so much. I see it like the Columbia River that's out in front of me. I go sit down there almost every day.
Oh,
And this
wonderful.
thing is like a half mile wide, and it is just moving. Logs will come down this thing. I know for a fact that whatever is up at this side of the river is going to move this way. Even if it's a house, if it's in the middle of this river cannot be stopped. I have complete faith in the river. And the same goes for inside of me. When I want something and I know it's good for me and all of mankind, I know it's going to happen. It's like, I've known people, they're like, man, it just seems like everything's easy for you. You just speak and it happens. But it's like, I already know the storyline. The universe wants us all to be happy. So if I want that, then I speak it into existence. And sometimes the minor details aren't right. But in the end, that, you know, I have a client right now who's a single mom and literally left with a black eye in 2020, an abusive marriage. And then the husband turned around and said she abandoned the kids, and she's been fighting her just like mad. And she's about to get her kids, it's, I'm losing my thought, but it's a crazy adventure,
No, I hear you.
I got a little emotional when I started thinking about the story of, I'm dealing with a lot of people in very hard situations right now. And we're all rising up because of these spiritual practices. We're all learning how to rewire the unconscious self-destructive behavior. And it's just beautiful to watch. It really is.
I'm glad you're out there. I'm glad you're out there giving back. That's really neat. That's really being able to help these people. That's really awesome.
I get so much back, and I literally just spend every day wherever I am, just like right now, I utilize a lot of the homeless areas because I just live in my van, and so I'll go somewhere to take a shower. But that just gives me all day to chill with the people who are really, really struggling, and I can just be right where they're at. It's been such a blessing.
That's wonderful.
That's what's helped me to really step into my future self. I'm like, I'll probably still come here and take a shower on my way through town, even when I have money, and I'll be able to donate $1,000 to the place I'm taking a shower.
Neat. Yeah, neat.
So it's really easy once you step into that my future self came back to this struggle, you can just start living as your future self. And then the beliefs all start getting shaken because your future self trusts the universe. So why don't you? It's like there's no excuse not to. You just start melting into that faith, that belief, and you just start moving forward and doing good stuff. I got some comments going on here. Oh, hey Ted. I got my good friend sending some comments. Awesome. So yeah, I got sidetracked. I didn't know if you had something to say. You can.
No, I'm all ears. No, I hear you. That's can be a wonderful thing. Yeah, it's I was watching a YouTube program by this professor of history. He's in China, and he's talking. He gives a. He's gotten pretty popular, and he's given these really no holds barred um, lectures on the history of Western civilization and the East, and so it's basically he's teaching to a group of high school kids in China at a private school, and he teaches the class in English. And at the very end, I caught him. He's basically predicting some scary times for the whole world, but and that's just kind of realistic. That's his own realistic take, given the fact he studied history and politics for all these different years. But he also said, he also had like a final message. He says, no matter what happens, you know, you can be the love and the light, no matter how dark things might get.
Yeah.
He literally said it. You can, like, from what we've known, this is what he said about his lectures. From what we've known about what we've learned from this history of civilization is that, you know, from everyone from Homer to Dante to all the great philosophers, is that imagination is so key. Imagination is this almost unstoppable force. Human imagination is this unstoppable force that shapes history, and that each of us has this capacity to imagine and to love, and that any one of us could be the vessel for change, even in the midst of the darkest of times, through our imagination and through our love. And that was his last message. I mean, right after he basically predicted World War III. I'm not kidding. He basically,
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because that kind of summarizes all kinds of stuff that I'm trying to do with these events, talking about, you know, beliefs and how they work in our life. And I'm glad you brought up kind of like this doomsday simulation that we're in. You know, our whole lives we've seen the preacher man on the corner saying the end is nigh, and we've been told by the preacher if we don't pay him money we're going to go to hell or whatever. And I've done a lot of thinking about beliefs and how to assess. I mean, I had a good 6 months where I talked to ChatGPT about just how to analyze the core structure of reality. I told ChatGPT at one point, I was like, I feel like I'm in a doomsday simulation. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie A Princess Bride, but there's a scene in the movie where the guy's in a torture chamber underground, and the evil guy is like, have a good night. I may kill you in the morning. And I always tease my daughter. I'm like, sometimes I'm looking at the news and everything around. It kind of feels like we're just in this simulation where they're just like, can we kill them with stress? You know, can we just kill them with fear?
Yeah.
But again, it could come down to, it's a collective unconscious driving of capitalism trying to make money and controlling us with fear. Or it could be a dark demonic demon controlling everything. Who cares? We see the force of it, whatever it is. And really, in my mindfulness practice, 10 years of analyzing this, watching it get worse, watching politics literally turn into WWF fake wrestling, just having the hypnosis in front of us, having Hollywood fall apart, and having it'd be so obvious that they're acting out witchcraft to put spells over us, whether it's real or not. I'm not saying witchcraft is real. I don't know. I'm just, I just tell them what I've seen them doing. It can be scary, but in my understanding of reality, our beliefs are supposed to be helpful. And what you brought up is, if we are in that time where everything's about to end and there's some evil dark lord and we're slaves and we're about to be killed or whatever, we can be love. And love is energy that will keep going no matter what. It will travel on in some way. I believe our consciousness will. Everything we've done will be recorded in some way, but the energy that we are is going to move on, and we'll get to light up another body of some sort. We'll have another experience, or it'll be a peaceful story that we told at the end of a nasty civilization. Who knows? Who knows what it is?
You're right.
But the way I concluded it is, it's possible that there's going to be some pole shift and some natural disaster with 1,000-foot wave, and that's, my brain just kind of processes that could be possible. There could be a meteor from the sky, and I see this 1,000-foot wave. And my belief, if that happens, I'm going to grab a slab of wood and try to surf and have fun, to just see if you make it. Because we're energy, and if we get to see the end of the world, we can do it in peace, and we can do it in love, and we can literally turn and say, what a beautiful view, what a beautiful sunset, and we can enjoy and make sure that our time here impacts in a way, our vibration is love, and no matter what, it'll be a meaningful experience. And to me, that's the whole meaning of what we're doing here, is to find meaning, make a difference.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Yeah, no, it's
and so we don't need to be in fear of what they're saying on the news. In fact, in my book, the intro to my book, The Balanced Life Wheel, it literally says this is an invitation to remove your focus from all the problems in front of you because 90% of them aren't real, and learn who you are so you can reassess reality and see what's real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and at the end of the day, all of the stuff we see on the news, all this crazy end of times World War III predictions might be real, or it might be their timeline, and maybe we're meant to just live in peace and ignore them. I don't know. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Maybe
Yeah.
if enough of us wake up, my thought is that these people on the lines fighting the fake wars, because when we know all the governments can all get together and agree to give us the same medicine forcefully, and they can all get together and say nobody can go to the Arctic or the Antarctic, you know there's no need for war. You know they could figure it out if they wanted to. And so at some point, if enough of us spend time practicing mindfulness, maybe the ones on the battlefield pushing the buttons killing each other will wake up and realize that they're killing themselves. They'll realize I'm about to go blow up that plane which has me with my kids. I'll be killing my kid's dad basically by killing another man or woman, you know.
Sure.
And if they wake up to that, they'll just quit pushing the buttons and they'll just be like, why are we fighting each other?
And it's really interesting you say that, because if you look at least one of the big ongoing conflicts in the world, and I hate, Russia and the Ukraine, yeah, are they different? Yeah, I mean, is the Ukraine full of different sort of subcultures and different families and lines and tribes than most of Russia? Yeah, but are they that much different? If you really pulled back over the history of the Russian Empire, the Russian nation, Ukraine and Russia, I mean, they were brothers. They were kissing cousins. They were close. I mean, there's more that's common with those people than is different. I mean, they're hundreds of years, and yet they're fighting each other. It's basically, it can be looked at, and hopefully it won't be offensive to some people, as kind of a civil war. That brother killing brother, it's like
Yeah.
they are me, I am them, and
Yeah.
that's what makes it even more tragic. It makes it so much more tragic.
Yeah, the closer we get to oneness and realizing, and this can be triggering for Christians to hear this, and I consider myself to strive after living a Christ-like life, so I consider myself a Christian to some degree. But is the more we understand that we're all one, and that doesn't mean actually one. I don't think you and me are the same person. What I mean is, you are a meat suit lit up by God itself, and I'm a meat suit lit up by God itself. And if I think you're any different than me, if I think you're dumb because you don't know something, or if I think you're bad because you did something, I'm not realizing that I've done all that myself. Everything you've done, I've done. Like we can say the Nazi whatever. I don't know what YouTube guidelines, but the people who push buttons to hurt other people, what happened in the First World War.
Yeah.
If we say those were bad people because they did that, we don't realize that we do the same thing to people emotionally when we get triggered. And once we realize that we do it by accident and it's an unconscious behavior, we realize how close we are. I mean, just look at society, how close we are to totalitarian rule and people hurting each other over titles. You look that way, so you must believe this. So that means we can do this to you. And our society right now is proving that everybody could do that. Everyone could find themselves following orders and hurting other people and just say, I'm just following orders. And so I believe our only choice right now as a society is to remove our focus from what they're trying to hypnotize us and get back and heal ourselves. Because the second I did that, I quit being in fear. I no longer fear what they're going to do because I know I'm energy and I know they can't control my inner self. I know I make up my whole reality inside of me, and all I see is love, even to the ones hurting me. Even the leaders right now trying to hurt everyone, I know that somewhere inside of them is a hurt inner child, and if we can help that hurt inner child heal, they won't want to hurt anyone. They'll actually want a better world for everyone. The greed would go away. They would feel bad about having all of the stuff, and they'd start spreading it around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the more we heal, the more we're able to help other people through it. And so that's why I always say in these events to everyone doing that work, we're all changing the world and we're all superheroes. proud of us all.
It's funny because I think Eckhart Tolle had a live stream yesterday, and I caught some of it where he was doing a guided meditation, and he basically said the same thing. The more people we can get into stillness, the better it will be for the world. And that the individual with the energy and the consciousness could be a light, could ripple their awareness, their love could ripple over into other people who are, just struggling with the hard emotions, or at war, So I'm basically saying he alluded to that very recently on a live meditation recently.
Yeah, because that understanding is threading through all of us that are meditating and all of us that are trying to do this work on ourselves. And it's what's happening. I think it's what everyone talks about as a timeline split. We have a lot of people going into fear, and they're going to hurt themselves and each other. If there's lack, they're going to riot and hurt each other. But those of us in love and peace, we're going to just set up a nice little camp and share whatever we have and protect each other. And we're going to get through anything. Humans always do. And if we don't, we're going to enjoy the beauty. We're going to love each other and enjoy every moment of it. And honestly, living in a doomsday simulation, it kind of makes you put all of your worries aside. I mean, what if a rock hit us tomorrow and we didn't exist? Then why are we worrying about anything today?
Sure.
Literally, just enjoy yourself and enjoy the people around you. Enjoy every moment. I mean, one of my mantras I keep telling myself all throughout the day is, if any second doesn't feel like a magic show, you're doing it wrong. And like today, I mean, a really good friend of mine lets me park outside of his house, so I have a safe place for Zeph to run around in his yard, and I get an extension cord. And his car broke down, and I love the guy to death, and I find myself waiting in a parking lot for him to do something, and it's like an hour wait, and I love to help him. But if my mind even starts to slip on like, oh, I got stuff to do, why I'm just in a parking lot, I'm missing a squirrel in a tree. I'm missing 2 birds flying. I'm missing rain hitting. Last night, I was waiting outside of his church because he was at a meditation, and I had to do work, so I couldn't go in and do it with him. And I'm just sitting there watching the rain, and I'm just like, I'm so glad I'm right here. Why would I want to be anywhere else?
Wow.
Rain's coming down the light. It's beautiful, like the wind's blowing through. And if you stop and find something to enjoy, it doesn't matter if you're stuck in line at a supermarket. You might start a conversation or get a smile. There's always something to see magic in. It's always there. It's just
wonderful.
Our beliefs that are getting in the way. Our lenses make us where we can't see it.
It's wonderful. You have people in your life that reflect that you've got this friend, and you've got your daughter, and and whomever. You've got other friends who kind of they seem like they really reflect, or they resonate with your energy and with your practices and with your beliefs. I mean, this person you're helping out going to a meditation, that's awesome. I need to incorporate more of that into my life. People who are like around me who believe in the same things, who do similar practices. That's great. You have people in your life who do that.
Yeah, honestly, my whole life fell apart, and I kind of rebuilt it, and it fell apart again, but then it just snapped right back together with just the right people. It's like,
excellent.
It's like, and everything it's I don't know, it's just the process. It's like right before you get to your authentic self, it seems like everything falls apart, and you get tested to see if you can hold it together, and by the time I got there, I had already lost a family of 18 years, a business of 20 years. And it was like, you can't phase me. I mean, you could strip me naked and throw me in the desert, and I'll come back a year later with everything I had. It's like, it's like, I've at this point, I've learned it has nothing to do with being outside of me. I've lost everything too many times to worry about anything, Just learned not to lose myself. Once I didn't lose myself, I have everything all the time.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah, well, man, I don't even know what time it is, how long we've been chilling on here. We got 5 people watching now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, thank you for helping me. I get tired of just talking and hearing my voice, so it's nice for you to jump on.
Oh, it helps me now anytime. It helps me. I mean, it's just, it's just, it's humbling. It's humbling, I mean, just, yeah.
Well, let me just say real quick, if anybody that's joining us wants to ask a question or give feedback or hop into the Zoom room and continue the conversation with us, as long as you have something to add, I'm welcome you. I've been getting all kinds of spammers jumping into anywhere that I have the ability to do a chat, and they've been sending me all kinds of spam. But if you want to participate in the conversation, we'd love to have you. So the link is in the video description for the Zoom room. And the passcode is 1133. You can hop in and you'll be in a waiting room, and I can let you in if you want to join our conversation. Or if you want to text, you can join our WhatsApp chat, and that link is also in the description. Or if you don't have either of those, you can text me at 360-798-2184. There you go. There's all the options if you want to join in. Otherwise, oh man, we almost made it to 7 tonight. Awesome. 6:42.
Oh, neat. Neat.
So I'm just checking through the chat here. You can add whatever you want. Just give me 1 minute here to see what we got. We got 6 watching now. So welcome to everyone who's joining us. So glad that you guys are all here. Hearts are going crazy in our chat. I wish I was more savvy, you guys. I wish I could get in there and say hello to everyone. But 2 screens on one device and my phone in front of me is all I can handle while I'm live.
Maybe we should bring your cat in here for a cameo appearance once in a while. I know you do. I've seen him jump around.
You know, we actually have a very dear family member that let us come in. We had a tsunami rain outside for the last few days, and it was so funny. Zeph loves being outside, and he hates it when I bring him inside. But I got him into the house, and he's spent a lot of time here in this house before. I got him in here, and that night it was pouring down rain, and he came up and laid next to me, and I was like, "Aren't you glad we're inside?" And he just laid down. He's like, "Yeah." So I can't get him to come hang out with me because he's so comfortable. He's loving being warm right now. He's probably over sitting next to a heater somewhere.
That's funny.
Enjoying. That's fun. I think he thinks he's on vacation at a hotel. We're going to be out in the cold in a few days again. We won't have a place, but it'll be good. We'll be ready. And he'll be ready to be outside again. But that's why I haven't had him on camera, because he's too comfortable in the heated house.
Gotcha.
Oh, well, I don't see anybody else joining us. And I think I got caught up on all my comments. Yeah, okay. So, man, that conversation was awesome. My head is spinning.
Really? Okay.
I think it was my influx of text on top of it and everything, but I've really enjoyed our conversation tonight, and I'd encourage you to go back and just skim through the front. It's stuff we've talked about, but it should give you some good pointers on things you can do throughout the day, especially since you're working from home. You said a couple of times a week, right?
Yeah.
There's I talk about using like binaural beats for keeping in state.
Good. Okay. Certainly.
One thing that I'm interested if you would try it, or if you're interested in trying it, but I started incorporating scent therapy into my mindfulness. And so I would, like, my favorite color was orange because I was working on sacral chakra wounds when I was meditating. And so I'd use the orange essential oil because I love the smell of it. But I mentioned earlier in this event that when I would meditate, I would put it like on my hands or put it in my hair so I could smell it. And then throughout the day, the scent would bring back the feelings that I would be feeling in the meditation. So it's
that's really great.
I would just incorporate it. In fact, whenever I have money, I go buy like a really good hair oil, and then I'll put orange essential oil in it, and then sometimes some vitamins with it. And then I just use it, just put it in my hair. And then the scent you know, it just carries throughout the day. If you start with your meditation, then it just adds another layer to it.
No, I'd certainly be interested in that. No, definitely. Yeah. No, God knows I could use that. Yeah.
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 And
I didn't know.
Oh, go ahead.
I didn't know there was an orange essential oil. That sounds interesting.
Oh yeah, there's essential oils basically for every color. Like you can get lavender if you're working on your crown chakra. You can, there's blueberries for your throat chakra. But yeah, it's mostly just what resonates with you. It was the color and the scent to me. I just love the flavor and scent of oranges, and so I was just like, I kind of listened to my inner child that was like, that's my favorite flavor ice cream. So I'm going to feel like I'm smelling the ice cream while I'm doing my meditation. So at least my inner child can dream of having an ice cream cone once he sits for the half hour, you know?
Gotcha. Gotcha. I get it. Yeah.
Those are little mental hacks. And then when you start layering these things, what we're doing is we're undoing body memories from the past. So in the past, we've been through experiences that we didn't know how to understand. So our body disassociates and it goes through the experience, whether it was really a bad experience or just a misunderstanding, doesn't matter. Our body shuts down. We lose function. We lose access to our memories. We lose access to our ability to speak, to do everything. And so what we're doing is we're unraveling those body memories and creating new ones. We're sitting in peace for a half hour, layering on top the scent, our favorite smell, maybe putting on colors of light. In my van, I have a light strip that I can change the colors.
Oh,
and
neat.
So if I'm working on my root chakra, I'll turn it red. If I'm working on my heart chakra, I'll turn it green. And it's a way to make it a full body experience. It's so that the actual vibration of the color coming in is working on the heart. The sound coming in is maybe the sound, the 432 hertz of love. And so you're vibrating it with sound, you're vibrating it with sight. And then you're consciously sitting down and teaching your body how to vibrate in peace and love. And that is a form of reparenting the inner child. And then this is just kind of how it works throughout the day. Then that scent, when you're at work and you're about to make the stressful call and the wind kicks up, or for me, if I have that in my hair, I'll constantly do this, and I might just kind of, then I can smell it, and then it calms me down. Then I'm back in the moment of being in my meditation. So they're just little hacks to speed it up, so that you can keep that state all day. And once you know that that's what your goal is, there's nothing more you need to think about. It's a cheat code for the whole game. Like before, you used to have to watch out for, Billy in accounting because he's a bully, and then your ex-wife because she whatever, or this or that, or circumstances that you don't like. You'd have to watch out for those and try to circumnavigate around them. But once you just start enjoying the day and looking for magic and learning how to stay in the right state, you don't have to do anything but just watch when you come out of that state.
That sounds great. Yeah, the binaural beats, and that essential. Yeah, that sounds good. And the essential oil sounds good. That sounds
good. I've got either a book or a weekend course or something in my head that it's starting to come out, but it's called Keys to Success, and it's going to be a list of like teaching how to use binaural beats, how to choose the frequency you want. If you put on a theta state frequency while you're meditating, and then you layer over top of that a guided meditation to change a belief, you can literally like turn a silent meditation into a belief changing session. If it's like once you learn how to use it, what you're doing is already you're learning how to put yourself in the trance state. And trance is just the state, the programming state of the unconscious mind. It's literally just, if you want to use my cat Zephyr as a metaphor, it's petting him until he's calm, and then you're able to explain to him that he's safe. You're just calming the body and getting it into a place where it can hear your conscious mind. And then your conscious mind is learning that your body, and I'm glad I got sidetracked earlier. You were talking about imagination, and this what I was about to say brought it up. your unconscious mind communicates to you through imagination, and that's how you communicate to your unconscious mind. I used to think that prayer was, getting on your knees by your bed and saying, "Dear Jesus, please give me the money I need for tomorrow," or something. But what I've found is actual real prayer, programming your unconscious mind to get, the things that you need, is more sitting and putting yourself in a full body vision of you already having it. It's like the way that I'm building this business is I started just visualizing myself. What will I be when the business is done? And I just started getting glimpses of me just set up with my laptop, just sitting in the corner somewhere. And it just, my background would always change, but it was just this person I was seeing. And the vision of it, seeing it in my imagination, made my unconscious mind start building the habits to become it. And so that's how you communicate with your unconscious mind. If you realize that there's something in your life that you don't want anymore, if you want to change it, you don't look at the change. You don't say, "Oh, my car," like my van right now, it's a 1994 Dodge Ram van. I believe the mileage has flipped over. I think it has 1 million miles, 250,000.
Wow.
But I don't sit and say, "Oh, that it's old." I'm grateful that it still runs, and then I visualize me upgrading that and already having the car, the vehicle I need, that I don't have to worry if it's going to break down. Right now, I'm visualizing being able to pull up to a tire shop and get new tires, so I don't have to worry about. And so, in those visualizations, I'm telling my unconscious mind, I need to get my income where I can make that happen, and it's happening. It's like rapidly. And so that's how you program it. If you think about in the Bible, it says you pray to the Father through Jesus. And once you pray, once you have the vision complete of what you're praying for, if it's in line with good, with unconditional love, then you don't think about it again. You don't sit there and say, "I wonder if I'm going to get it." You start being grateful for it, saying, "Thank you. I know it's on the way." That's the key. That's the only key. And it is your creator. It is that source that's bringing it to you. I just happen to see it more as I become a magnet to it, and it just comes to me out of the environment around me. Sorry, I'm just looking at the comments. But no matter what, I mean, you can tell it through that story. You can say, "Yeah, I prayed to Jesus Sky Daddy, and he sent me, an angel," and whatever. That's how it feels. I don't know.
That's cool. That's cool.
And you got to forgive the way I talk about religion. I've been so religiously traumatized that it's hard for me to believe any certain form. And so I don't put anyone down who does. The people who believe literally in the Bible stories that they're real, they have every right to believe that. And I might be too damaged to be able to right now. But I know that if the characters are real, their Jesus is going to understand that I'm still doing his work, even though he's been misrepresented to me, and I see him more as a state of consciousness,
Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha.
I meet the dude one day and he's a real dude. I'll be like, "Hey, sorry." And he'll be like, "No worries. I get it." But in the meantime, I don't want to offend anybody listening that I'm putting them down. It's just, you're seeing how I held my brain together and got out of a cult. That's all.
Gotcha.
And we're all learning how to hear each other and not get triggered, because every once in a while I'll say the Jesus myth, because I see it as a tale of what we could be. I see it as a collection of 10 million stories of men and women who lived and did amazing things. They combined them into this one perfect story that I try to follow and be it, because I know my ancestors could be it. That's what the whole story tells us. Jesus found out that inside of him, he was being lit up by God's energy itself. And he says, "So are you. And we're all worthy. We're all forgiven." And then he got that conscious level and started doing what he was supposed to do.
Gotcha. Yeah.
We're all living that out to some degree, because everyone who spends time meditating ends up trying to make the world a better place in some way,
Sure. Yeah.
It's the outcome of self-enlightenment is wanting to better everyone, because we know it helps in the long run. It helps us. It's the most selfish thing to do.
Yeah, no, certainly. Yeah. Good point. Good point.
Well, I think we're rounding up on 7, and I'm actually getting tired, and I'll end up just starting
Okay.
rambling soon. But I thank you so much for joining
Thank
me.
you.
You made
Thank you.
the whole event better to have a conversation. I'm so grateful for your presence here tonight.
Well, thank you. Likewise. 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 I'll jump out if you're getting tired here. Yeah. No. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I will let you go now, and you can call me later if you want to hang out and talk. And
Okay.
then I'll do my exit here on YouTube and say goodbye to the 4 that are watching. Man, thank you guys for hanging out.
Okay.
Chilling.
Talk to you later.
All right.
Take
We'll
care.
talk to you later, everyone.
Okay.
Oh, that was awesome. I'm so grateful that he joined us. Last call. Oh, no, I'm too tired. I was going to say last call. I'm just trying to get people to participate, but I'm beat. I don't know. But I'm so grateful for you guys that were watching. I'm to Ben, who commented this morning and said, your videos are always so helpful. You literally made my day. Thank you. To Ted, who's commenting right now and sending all kinds of stuff over here. Thank you. You made my day too. You guys are all amazing. So, I wanted to just talk for a minute more about the 2 groups that I'm starting. They're just going to be a really exciting experience, and I want to let everybody know the opportunity that's coming up. One group is the Balanced Life Wheel Online Mastermind. It's based on the book that I've written called The Balanced Life Wheel. It's where we take a wheel with 12 spokes and we divide our life up into like romantic relationships, spirituality, emotional states, home life. And we spend a week talking about each of these areas. And in the book, I've taken the 4 doctors that have influenced me the most, Dr. Jordan Peterson, and only his psychological stuff, none of his religious stuff, but Dr. Gabor Mate about trauma, and Dr. Bruce Lipton about epigenetics, and my favorite, Dr. Milton Erickson, the most famous and best hypnotherapist and psychologist ever to live, I think. That's just my opinion. And I take all of their collective ideas and kind of summarize them in this book and put them all together in the form how I fix my brain. To kind of rewrite rules, to set up ways to think, to what I would call the thought vaccine to the thought virus. And so the book's really helpful. It has a little hypnotic story woven through it. And so you can buy the book, and then here in a few weeks, we'll be putting our Balanced Life Wheel Mastermind videos as a self-study course. Or you can join the group live and work with a group of conscious creators that are all trying to rewire their unconscious patterns of self-sabotage. And I believe in this group, we're going to be able to do it at an amazing speed. We're going to be able to see years and years of progress happen in just weeks, because we're all going to be focused in the same areas. We're going to be sharing ideas. We're going to be doing meditations together. And then that leads me to the secondary group. They're made to go hand in hand. The secondary group is the Outcomes Mastermind, where we're going to learn how to visualize our future self, visualize future outcomes, basically learn how to pray the correct way in a full body memory, so that we can carry that memory as a vibration to attract the circumstances we need to build the life. It's been life-changing for me to learn how my body works as a magnet. And for years, I was magnetized to negative emotions. And it took me 10 years of sitting by myself in the forest, just confused, trying to figure out what the memories meant that were coming up, how to deal with them. And over that 10 years, I've really developed it into a repeatable process. It's something that I can, when I meet somebody, I know where they're at in the process. I can just sense how much work they have to do. And in my conversations with them, I'm a skilled neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, and all of my conversations are designed to fix these beliefs. I don't ever do anything to fix them. The way that I fix them is I basically show the unconscious mind that the belief isn't true, and I give it directives to fix it with its own knowledge. And whatever it doesn't, whatever knowledge it's lacking, I teach it to test reality and find what it feels is real. So I'm never putting my ideas, I'm never taking over control of my client's mind. All I'm doing is breaking hypnosis, and I'm setting their mind up on the factory reset, which it does naturally. If you study Milton H. Erickson's work, he believed fully that the less intervention you did on your client, the better. The more you just created this space for them to heal, and you just showed the unconscious mind how to heal, the more it could do on its own. And so in identity coaching, I am literally just creating a metaphysical space for us to just sit in trance. And I'm just helping you interact with your own unconscious programming. You're learning how to listen to yourself. You're connecting the body-mind connection. And once that connects, you don't need coaching anymore. You don't even need me. You could sit in silence and figure this out. I figured it out over 10 years. I'm just offering you an opportunity to sit in the space that I've created so I can give you a few pointers on how to move forward quicker. And so all of my groups come with a full money back guarantee. I mean, come try it out. If you don't like it, you don't have to pay for it. But individually, they're $333, or combined, no, $222. I'm sorry, I'm tired. I just got the pricing set up. They're $222 individually, because I figure that some might want to do just the balanced life wheel. Maybe they're too engrossed with trying to unravel the false beliefs. Maybe that's all they can handle right now, so they can take just that one. And maybe some people are past that. Maybe they have really learned how to uproot false beliefs, and maybe they don't need to go through that, and they just want to learn how to visualize their future. So I figure there's going to be some people in both of those groups. But for most of us, I find it very beneficial to constantly go back around this wheel of life and constantly dig up my beliefs, because every time I do, I find deeper unconscious things that I didn't know were there. And so for most of us, we're going to want to be doing both at the same time. And so the two together will be $333. And if you want to pay for 6 months in advance, it'll be $300 a month, or $200 a month if you want to take one. So all of that we can work out. If you have any questions right now, text me on my business line, 360-798-2184. And hopefully, I'm trying to put myself out there. I'm hoping within 24 hours, I will have a web page put up on hack-yourself here. Right there, hackyourself.net. I will have a page on there for group coaching. And it will have all this. I'm hoping to have a little video for each. But for those of you that stuck with me through this, I think I still got 3 watching. I love you guys so much. Thank you for hanging out with me. For everyone that's going to watch the replay, thank you guys for being part of the Hack Nation. This is so exciting to have these healing conversations. I love to find a group of people that are coming to consciousness, becoming conscious creators. We're sifting through their unconscious self-destructive behavior and fixing it. And it's just exciting to be a part of this group. So I'm going to leave you guys with a song from my collection of music. This is one of my favorite songs. It's written for parents and kids, called Mindful Morning. And it's just to teach a little bit about mindfulness. So enjoy this song. I'm going to close out after this. I love you all. Thank you for hanging out with me. I will be back next. Ooh, let me see if I can figure out what the next one is real quick. I will be back Sunday at 5 p.m. for another Healing in Nature event. And I'm too tired to figure out where my list is to know what the next one is, but I will be putting out posts so you can know. But here is the song Mindful Morning by my band Love Trust. You guys enjoy and have an amazing rest of your evening.
Wake up with the sunshine, feel the breath in and out. Listen to the calm wind That's what it's all about. In and out, we breathe slow. Feel our feet on the ground. Focus on the moment. Peace is all around. Mindful morning, mind's the key. Let's all be here happily. Close your eyes and just be free. It's the way we love to be. Wiggle toes in our shoes. Stretch our arms way up high. Smile and watch the clouds move like paint in the sky. Close your eyes and count to 10. Feel your heartbeat start again. You're in a peaceful zen. Mindful morning, mind's the key. Let's all be here happily. Close your eyes and just be free. It's the way we love to be.